just you guys. Next to Dragon, there we go.
Hey, Tommy, Christian, Ricky, just what's it like being here tonight, meeting fans, being here at a Florida Panthers professional hockey game?
It's been great. I've actually never personally been to a hockey game here at the BB&T Center. Been here to wrestle many times, but it's great. The environment is great. It's a great venue to watch hockey. The facilities are unbelievable, so we've had a great time. So it's been the Panthers have been really hospitable to us. It's been great.
For me, South Florida has been a huge influence for myself with the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. To the first time I ever main evented a pay-per-view was at the War Memorial, and I'm having a great time. If it wasn't for hockey, I would never even got into the business because my father was a season ticket holder for the Rangers. The game was snowed out, and instead they played wrestling for Madison Square Garden, and that's how I kind of got hooked on the sport. I'm a die-hard sports fan, die-hard hockey fan, not as much as Christian, but he's Canadian, so it's embedded in his blood. But having a great time.
It's in his DNA.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, for the Dragon, I love coming to live events, period. Just sort of brings me back to when I was wrestling actively in live events, and listening to the fans react sort of brings back a lot of memories when I would be in the ring and listen to the fans reacting to whatever was happening to me, whether I was handing it out or getting my butt handed to me. But the live events...
Well, somebody scored, Ricky heard the cheer, he turned around and clotheslined me.
Oh. But anywho, the place is fabulous, great look to it. The hospitality here has been great, especially the food down there on the Lexus level. Man, it's just off the hook. We're having a great time here, signing a lot of autographs, taking a lot of pictures, and putting smiles on people's faces.
What does it mean to have WrestleMania back in the state of Florida for the first time in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean the history of wrestling in Florida goes back years and years and years. I mean, Ricky can attest to that.
Yeah, Florida Championship Wrestling with Gordon Soley. You know, Eddie, believe it or not, 1976, Eddie Graham gave me the Ricky Steamboat name. You know, so...
I think based off of the success of WrestleMania in Miami a few years ago,
yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense to go down the road to Orlando, and you know, the support from the state of Florida, I think, is phenomenal.
I talked to a lot of hockey players the other day, a lot of wrestling fans in that room. I asked them if any of them ever thought about getting into wrestling, and they all said they're not even close to athletic enough, and these guys are professional athletes. Just as a guy who knows both, just your thoughts on the differences, obviously, in the training and the athleticism of hockey versus wrestling, as far as what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, they're both fast, physical sports. So I think that some of the similarities are, to me, with wrestling, you know, we're on the road a lot, and we're wrestling 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, whereas sometimes with hockey, especially in the playoffs, you know, you're playing a lot of games in a short amount of time. Sometimes even during the season, they're playing back-to-back games. So, you know, sometimes your body's a little banged up, you're a little bit sore, but you still have to go out there and perform, put on your best, and entertain the fans. That's what it's all about.
That being said, though, a lot of them said there was no way they're ever going off the top rope. That set you guys apart.
I wouldn't. Well, a lot of wrestlers wouldn't get on skates either. So
I wouldn't skate backwards on the. You know, I think a lot of then hockey players aren't given enough credit because I always say hockey's the toughest sport because they can fight on ice, and that's I can fight anywhere, but you put me on ice and I'm going down.
What have you guys thought about NXT and development? Because it's a lot of different way of developing nowadays. To when you guys were wrestling and all, what are your thoughts of the product and just the WWE Performance Center and what they're doing up there?
Yeah, I think it's a logical step. I think it's just the evolution of the business to where it is now. I think it just makes sense to have everything under one roof and for. You know, for guys to be able to perform, and NXT is actually becoming a bigger brand. It's building and building and building, becoming its own standalone brand. Whereas before it was used as more of a feeder system, or for guys or women to get out there in front of a crowd, to get the training during the week, get out there in front of crowds, and get that experience. And even on the TVs, it's kind of a smaller version of what you would see on Raw. So it gives them experience that when you walk out on Raw in front of millions of people on television, thousands that are in attendance there, you're not a deer in headlights. So I think that's kind of what the whole process, the benefits of it are.
I think a lot of it is that it's what they've had to do. You know, other than a lot of the indies, independents, and then you got the kind of guys that are jumping off the roofs and crashing through picnic tables. I mean, you know, what kind of training does that take? So I think the WWE, this is what they've had to do, because when we were coming into the business, you know, grant you, we went through a wrestling school that they taught you how to fall correctly or pick somebody up and body slam them. But the best training that all of us got was every night for my first couple of years of being in the business. I was looking across the ring at a 15 and 20-year veteran who was teaching me. You know, these guys, they don't have that luxury. You got a one-year guy season teaching a one-year guy season, the indies, you know. And I was like, that's the way I was schooled, you know, for first couple of years. Had a 15, 20-year vet showing me the ropes, you know. So this Performance Center is what the company's had to do. And they've got the best trainers to try and bring back that way of teaching. Although they may not be able to get in the ring, you know. But, you know, this is the way they're teaching those younger guys. And it's just like we were on the job training every night, working, you know, 300 shows a year. But once again, being taught by guys that are really, really seasoned and were good.
For me, with the Performance Center, I am on the indies, and there are a lot of guys, like Ricky Steamboat said, they look at each other and they'll ask each other opinion, but they're on the same level. If you want to take it to the next level, you should always ask someone who has been to the bigger dance of WWE. And, you know, the Performance Center is great. They also have coaches. You know, if we're relating this to the Panthers, you have one of the greatest players of all time still actively playing, and he can help the younger guys and also then talk to you, hey guys, you're about to hit the playoffs, because it's a whole different level. And you know, at the Performance Center, you have that where you have, hey, Shawn Michaels can walk in, Christian, Edge, Ricky Steamboat, at any time, here's your trainer to give you from that knowledge, because that's not happening anymore, especially on independent wrestling.
And the Hall of Fame, that's the last thing I wanted to ask. Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Express has just been announced for that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Rock and Roll getting in? And is there someone you guys would like to see get in there?
Wow, Rock and Roll Express, you know, Ricky Morton, he always, when I see him on occasion, I do see him on the road probably 4 or 5 times a year, he's always saying that, you know, Ricky, I was the better babyface than you. And I go, and I said, Ricky, you know, you learned from me. You know, I was a generation before him, so I said, you learned from me, and half the stuff you're doing right now in the ring, you stole from me, you know. So don't say that you're better, you know, but those two guys are well-deserved. They are still actively out there hanging and banging almost every night of the week, and it's because they love it, you know, and still actively doing it, and my hat's off to them.
Yeah, happy for the Rock and Roll Express, coming from a pretty well-regarded tag team with Edge and Christian, you know, and appreciating the history of tag teams. They were definitely one of the best, most beloved tag teams in the history, especially in the NWA days with Crockett. So yeah, it's really exciting to see them get in, well-deserved. One of the greatest tag teams of all time, so I'm really happy for them.
Second to Youngblood and Steamboat.
Not the Briscoe brothers?
And the Briscoe, Jack and Jerry, yes.
Rock and Roll are great. They have Kurt Angle going in there, and if you want to talk about, before the question about how hard is the transition, Kurt Angle, who won an Olympic gold medal, said professional wrestling was harder. And so you think about that, but that's great for him. Me personally, I'd love to see Ravishing Rick Rude in the Hall of Fame, and Ivan Koloff. He was the man that ended Bruno Sammartino's streak, and everyone was talking about when Brock Lesnar ended the Undertaker streak. Back then, Bruno Sammartino, it was like people were crushed that happened. So I'd like to see that happen for Ivan Koloff, and that's hopefully one day it'll happen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.